So what I'm going to tell you how to do is work out the spring constant. So you've seen this equation, force equals spring constant times extension. What we want to work out is spring constant. We're going to need to measure force and extension. And how we're going to do that, we're actually going to use the forks on the mountain bike, and hopefully if you've got a bike you can have a go at this at home. Now, what I'm going to do first, we're going to work out the force. Now the force you're going to put on the forks is basically your weight, so you have to work out your weight. Hopefully you will have some scales somewhere in your house. First thing you need to do, if you've got scales, they will probably do stones and kilograms. You want to start by finding your mass in kilograms. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so 63 kilograms. However, mass is not a force. Mass is the amount of stuff. We have to convert that to force. Now, in a previous lesson, we learned about the relationship between mass and weight. So weight is the force caused by gravity. And if you want an equation for weight, it's mass times the gravitational field strength. And the gravitational field strength on Earth for today, we're going to approximate as 10 newtons per kilogram. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my data in here, which was 63 kilograms. And then we've got a nice simple calculation which will give us 630 newtons. So what we've done now is we have calculated the force. Next thing to do is find the extension. Okay, the way to do that, if you've got forks on a mountain bike, you've got to find a way of showing how much the force compresses. Now, when we talk about extension and compression, although they are opposites, they can be calculated in the same way using the same equation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this broken elastic band, and I'm just going to tie it around the fork. So when I compress the fork, hopefully the elastic band will be pushed up. When I release my weight, I will then be able to see how much it has compressed. So I've just tied that round there, like that. I'm going to push it down here. And then let's just hope this works. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to really force it down. I'm just going to briefly put my weight onto the fork so it compresses. As if I was riding the bike. So weight on briefly and then off again. The elastic band stayed where it's been compressed, and I'm going to measure that compression now, just using the ruler as precisely as I can. So I've got 3.1 centimeters. So my extension is 3.1 centimeters. In fact, in this case, I should have written compression. But in terms of the equation, we can use the same. Now, next thing, we need to work out the spring constant. Spring constant is measured in newtons per meter. And it's basically the force needed to either compress or stretch an elastic material by a meter. Now, I know from this, because the units are newtons per meter, I need to divide newtons by meters. I know my newtons, my weight force, was 630, and I need to divide that by the extension. However, if I want the extension in meters, if I'm going to measure my spring constant in newtons per meter, I also need to have my extension in meters. So I will need to divide my centimeters by 100, which would give me 0.031. Okay? Once you've done that, okay, hopefully you are going to take your own readings and do your own calculations. If for whatever reason you cannot do your own measurements, and I'd really like you to, if you can use these measurements, write out how you worked out each stage and give a final answer. Thanks for having a go.